Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is me, Dr. Ibrahim Shemnawi, welcoming you to this lecture in our course Modern Drama. We finished already explaining an introductory lecture and the first two lectures 1 and 2. Now, today, inshallah, we need in this lecture to cover lecture number 3. And in lecture number 3, actually, we have here, we need to start with A Doll's House, the text under study. And as you know, in the first 2 lectures, we had an introduction about modern drama. We know something about what happened to drama after the death of Shakespeare, and how drama suffered a lot, how drama had a decline. And we went through all these other dramatists who came after Shakespeare and how they could restore the success of drama to make a kind of refreshment, to make a kind of revival to drama again. And we said that we have a text here to analyze, and our text is A Doll's House by a very famous and popular dramatist, Henrik Ibsen. And Henrik Ibsen actually added great contributions to the theater. And this is the first point that we are going to start with, which is a high tragedy about ordinary people in everyday prose. Now, Ibsen's contribution to the theater was threefold, and each aspect respect the drama owes more to him than to any other dramatist since Shakespeare. What are his contributions? Firstly, the first one is he broke down the social barriers which had previously bound it. He was the first man to show that high tragedy could be written about ordinary people and in ordinary everyday prose. So he made tragedy to be written about ordinary people, not about first-class people or elite people, not about kings and queens only as in the plays of Shakespeare, but he wrote drama and tragedy especially about ordinary people. And not only this, even the language he used in writing his plays, it was a very ordinary, everyday language. Now, before Ibsen, as you know, tragedy had connected itself with kings and the queens. So it was only written on kings and the queens, princesses and princes. Ibsen showed that high tragedy did take place at least as frequently in back barrels as in castles and palaces. He was, of course, not the first dramatist to attempt this, but he was the first to write a tragedy about ordinary people, as I said, that proved a tremendous success. So he wrote a tragedy about ordinary people, and what he wrote actually had great success on the side of the people. No artificialities of plot and the creation of complex characters. This was his first contribution to the theater, the English theater, but also he had a second great contribution. What is this second great contribution? The second great contribution was technical. He threw out the old artificialities of plot. Equally important was a third contribution, which is he developed the art of prose dialogue to a degree of refinement. So he developed the art of prose dialogue to a degree of refinement which has never been surpassed. And this was, it never happened before. Not merely the different ways people talk and the different language they use under different circumstances, but that double density dialogue, which is his peculiar legacy, the subtext, the meaning behind the meaning, all these were there in his place. Now, Ibsen's deep understanding of human character and human relationships. But none of these technical contributions explains the continued life of Ibsen plays on the stage today. So he is still there, and everyone still likes his plays. Ibsen's enduring greatness as a dramatist is due not to his technical innovations only, but to the depth and subtlety of his understanding of human character, especially feminine character. So he has great ability to understand human characters, especially the feminine one, and which is there of human relationships. Now, he created succession of male characters of a size and strength that represent a challenge to any actor. Brand, Giant, Oswald, Alvin, characters who defy shallow or clever acting, but who, worthily interpreted, offer as rewarding experience as it is possible to receive in a theater. Yet, so delicate was Ibsen's understanding of human relationships that a selfish actor can only partially succeed in these rules. Unless the relationships with the other characters are right, the performance fails. Now, we move here to another important point, which is about the key facts about A Doll's House. Now, what do we mean by key facts? We mean that we have like a comprehensive idea about the play, the title, the author, the type of work, in which language it was written, the time and date of publication, also something about the conflict, the rising action, the falling action, if we have any symbols, if we have any foreshadowing. So all these things are here written in this part. Now, the full title of this play, as you know, is A Doll's House. Author, Henrik Ibsen. Type of work, it's a play. Genre, realistic, modern prose drama. The language, it was written in Norwegian language. Time and the place written, it was written in 1879, Rome and Amalfi, Italy. The date of first publication, it was in 1879. Tone, serious, intense, somber. Setting, presumably around the late of 1870s. Now, the setting for the place, it was in Norway. The protagonist in that one, we have Nora. Helmer, of course, is our protagonist. Major conflict, Nora's struggle with Krogstad. So the major conflict in this play is Nora's struggle with Krogstad, who threatens to tell her husband about her past crime, incites Nora's journey of self-discovery, and provides much of the play's dramatic suspense. Nora's primary struggle, however, is against the selfish, stifling and oppressive attitude of her husband, Torvald, and of the society that he represents. For the rising action, Nora's first conversation with Mrs. Lindy, Krogstad's visit and the blackmailing of Nora, Krogstad's delivery of the letter that later exposes Nora, The climax that we have in this play is Torvald reads Krogstad's letter and erupts, turns to be very angry. The following action that we have here is Nora's realization that Torvald is devoted not to her, but to the idea of her as someone who depends on him.